Hello everyone, for this review we have the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles First Turtles, the black and white variant. There was a color version that came out, and this is a second release with them in black and white motif, although there is red that is included, so kind of cool. So we'll go over the packaging. The artwork is pretty much very similar to the rest of the Mirage turtle lineup, with the kind of beige look, the original TMNT logo. We've got kind of a modern interpretation of the artwork. Pretty sure Kevin Eastman did this because it looks like his art style. If it isn't, somebody kind of copied the look really good. On the top, we've got the turtle logo. On the side, we've got a portrait of the drawn head sculpts. On this side, full body shots. UPC on the bottom. I got this from Walmart. I don't know if these are going to be sold at Target also, but I ordered this from walmart.com. And then we've got the back, and we've got some nice photography, and then a nice layout of other releases. And I don't think we've gotten these guys yet. So the black and red version of this is at Target. The black and red version of this is on target.com and not available for sale. And I think these two were shown off at Comic-Con. We don't have any previews of April yet, so that's interesting. It makes me wonder how far off she is. Actually, her and Leatherhead are probably a good ways down the road. Comparing it to the initial release, you can tell they felt like this was the more important one because it came with like the whole sketch thing and this nice hologram artwork. I'm surprised they didn't use this for this, since this is closer to a black and white penciled line art, but just something to be aware of. So let's get them out of the packaging. Okay. And we've got, I think this is exactly how the other one was laid out. So it's the same tray with a bottom tray with all the weapons. There's this pretty cool backdrop. This cardboard is pretty thin, but the printing here is nice and glossy. So I could see, sticking this, behind a shelf, at the back of a shelf, and having your figures up against it. So might be worth keeping. All right, so we'll go over this real quick since we got these nicely displayed in the tray. So you get the same weapons, you get the same hands. They come with these kind of flat hands, and you will get weapon holding hands in the package. Two sais, two katana, one nunchuck here. And then the rest of the weapons are here. You get a tonfa, a bow staff, the other nunchuck, and you get the effect nunchuck, and you get the two faces and the two figures. So let's get them all the way out, and then we'll take a look and do some comparisons. Okay, so here they are out of the box, and if you didn't see the first release, these guys are chunky. The NECA stuff in general is pretty, dense, heavy plastic, and these larger figures like this guy, I mean, he's just solid. Like these parts are not hollow. And when you pick it up, like it's this is this is pretty dense and heavy. The included weapons are pretty cool in that they do come off, and there's a little slot and a little tab to fit them in. So you can take them off, display them how you want. The weapons, there's not two sets of weapons, so you're not going to have, each one holding, two nunchucks in their hands. And to be fair, the original drawings did not have any extra weapons, so this is all just, this is just extra stuff for fun. You can give these guys the weapons, you can just let them have these little arm nunchucks. Um, it is interesting that the bigger guy, his nunchucks have chains, the smaller guy does not. So that's also a thing. Um, the look of these are pretty nice. The the places where you see like this line work, there is physical notches in the plastic where those lines go. So it's not just, like a tampo or spray that they're doing. There's indention where you see these lines. Maybe not everywhere, but almost everywhere there's indention. So that's kind of cool. And we'll do some comparisons in a moment, but I do think some of the line work is actually different between the two sets. You do get alternate heads that are doing more grimacing. They're showing their teeth, and that's a little more accurate to the original artwork. So there's that. This effects piece for the nunchuck, it technically can turn, but it doesn't like spin. You're not gonna like play with this and spin it. It's very tight, but um, it's basically pegged in. This is on a joint, so you can do some pretty crazy stuff with this, and it's just cool that they threw that piece in. Um, Lots of good line art on the weapons, as we can see. The sword even has a nick in it at the top, and we'll take a look at the back here also. Very different designs. You got more hatching on this one and more this kind of dimply texture on this guy. And as you can see, the shell designs are radically different. Um, I won't go too much into articulation, but each has neck articulation at the bottom. There's a hinge, so you can get some pretty extreme poses between the neck and the head. They have disc hinge, shoulders, single elbow, single knee, foot. Basically, basically, there's not a knee. It's like an ankle foot, but there is articulation. And you're gonna mostly need it to help stabilize the pose. You're not gonna make these guys, get into like extreme running poses. Maybe him. This one does have an actual like two segments. He's got a knee and a ankle. And the way this guy wants to stand, you're gonna have to kind of bend the foot pretty forward. to account for the distribution of gravity. Um, so yeah, there's that. They do have very pronounced tails. Um, they do have ball jointed hips. There's a deep socket, so you can kind of get some um, upper thigh swivel, but it's not a separate joint and a separate cut. So again, I kind of look at these as you're you're not going to get extreme action poses, at least from the feet. The arms have a good range of motion. The necks have a good range of motion, so you'll be able to do a lot of cool stuff with that. All right, so that is the figure and the accessories. And we'll just take a look and compare them with the color versions real quick, because there are maybe not. Okay, I was gonna say there is some difference in where the lines are placed, but again, like I was saying, most of where you see line work, there is physical etching into the plastic. So um, yeah, the line work is actually identical. I thought it may be different, but it is not. And I'm kind of curious if the line work is like a wash, like they put down the black and then wiped off like a true paint wash might be, or if these are kind of templated on, but they're pretty identical. So there's that. My copy's left arm here, this uh this nunchuck keeps wanting to fall off for some reason. Just gonna do that to help keep it from falling off. All right, so there's those two. And then we've got this guy. And yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, there is some variance in how thick the lines are in some places, but for the most part, the line work is exactly the same. All the hatching is the same. The little dimples are also the same on the shell. So pretty cool. Pretty happy to own these. I'm surprised we haven't gotten black and white versions of the Peter Laird turtles. If they want to make money, I'm sure they will eventually come out with them. This is probably going to be it for this particular style for the figure. We were treated to the next evolution of this design with the Playmates turtles that came out recently, the sketch turtles. And they're supposed to have black and white versions available for retail soon also. But I would imagine NECA would come around and do those turtles too. So that's got to be the next evolution at some point. Yeah, it's just amazing that these exist. Up until now, the only other company that had done anything like this was Mondo, and those figures are like super expensive. They mostly were making low run figures, and soon as they release, they get sold out, and then price just jumps up astronomically afterwards. Now everybody can have a first turtle of their own for a reasonable price, so that's always a good thing. So that's a review. Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, tune into more videos coming up, and if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you.